Hello, and welcome to another episode of CSG Echoes of Stardust. We're getting into the grand stretch of the end of Act 1 very soon. Well, not just very soon, but today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Because we have a lot to try to smash in here. We want to get a good, nice session going. In general, we have no major updates for things regarding the project, but I will, if there's anything that comes to mind towards the end of the session, I'll add it then. And of course, for anyone that is wondering, this is Dreamforge TTRPG. This is a new tabletop role-playing game that is currently in development by myself and some of the other friends and developers that are currently here playing the game today. So, go ahead and say hi, everyone, if you'd like.
Hey.
Yes. We do have one other player, however, they are going to be present in a bit. So, uh, they'll be joining us. That would be Jai when they are more available. But besides that, we will have Homie, Marliana here, and maybe a few onlookers that pop in every now and again to see a little bit live. I'm debating about us actually doing a stream for the actual Act 1 finale, maybe even the intro to Act 2, but we'll see how we feel about that. Regardless, though, let's get into things, shall we? Oh, of course. How could I forget? I never introduced myself. I will be the DM once again today, Dragon or Aeon. So, now let's get into things. In the last episode of Echoes of Stardust, Act 1, the party had, defeated the Warping Serpent and had begun to get the spoils of their, or collect themselves and potentially get the spoils of their great combat with what they now know as an anomalous Orient construct that seemingly chased down their main quarry sent from the stellar sea above. At the end of this combat, they conversed with an individual who identified themselves as, I believe, it wasn't Ostarva. What was his name? A lot of names. His name, I believe, was something Hadid, right? The DM really showing how much they had notes wise. No, I'm just there's a lot of information I've had to look through for this session, so I am just forgetting certain things. I apologize. Scrolling down. Feel free if one of you had written it in your notes to blurt it out, because while I'm
Oh,
looking.
I see. Here, I just found it. The Overseer.
Yes, the Overseer. What was his name? I think something Hadid?
Astarva.
Oh, it was Ostarva. Okay. Oh, I know who I was mistaking them with. That's funny. I was thinking of Orion. No, yeah, they are named Ostarva. Ostarva Hadid was their name. Ostarva, an overseer, as part of that is part of the AO, as the party is unfortunately becoming more acquainted with. Spoke to the party as well as mainly Starsha, somewhat trying to, we'll say, parlay or maybe try to convince Starsha to give up their heirloom device and the secrets that it holds to the AO. Not necessarily, while there was an implied threat, it was more of it seemed at least a kind of positing that Starsha and the others were unaware of the dangers they were placing themselves and many others in, as the secrets of this device are something that many people perhaps might have fought and died for, and the terrors and secrets that, or the terrors and things it might hold, are even more so dangerous. But the party, and Starsha specifically, was not willing to really heed Otstarva's warnings nor care about the AO, especially after the fight that they just had embarked on there. So, Otstarva decided to, hiding the AO's, we'll say, actions in the area, detonate their machines and warn the party that this would not be the last time that the AO would come to see them, so to speak. This led to, or immediately this led to the party going and, well, obtaining some of the information and some new tools and equipment from the aforementioned quarry that was sent. It seems as though Starsha's device, in some strange way, was able to activate on its own and send a transmission out into the stellar sea above, which then called some type of mobile platform and care package down to the planet's surface. In this, I guess you could say, care package was a small modular facility that seemed to have the strange technology that was capable of liquefying metals in canisters and printing them out and extruding and combining materials to make armor, weapons, and other types of equipment from them. Homie would have the machine make himself a set of meteoric iron-based tools for mining and excavating. I believe Felt would have some armor tailored towards her figure as well as towards her inclinations of medicine and such, as it would make some medical vestments. Starsha, much the same, as it seems the Starsha's kind of grown on the medical vestment type style, and actually had kind of decided to go for a little bit more of a Everglow-ish style, perhaps taking some inspirations from their home a little bit. On top of that, I believe Jai would also make some mithril armor, and Starsha would make some mithril twin machine guns. Originally it was pistols, but we decided to go with twin machine guns because there was really no reason not to. After, of course, doing all of this and looking at their new tools, the party, known to be, present for many fun-tacular things, was then alerted that this facility would self-destruct in a very short amount of time. Abruptly leaving the aforementioned site, it would detonate, collapsing and caving in the area it had impacted into the ground, so that no one else could receive the secrets and materials of this place. However, leaving the party unscathed from the altercation, giving them definitely ample time to escape. However, the party was left with many questions. One, this facility did not seem to match anyone, even Tara Mela, who was at least somewhat knowledgeable of things like the Nexus Ascendants, or I guess it was referred to as Ascendants in the facility, and places and other types of architecting facilities, seem to not fully recognize some of the architecture here, and none of the others seem to as well. Starsha also was seemingly at a loss of what this place, who this place could belong to, and the only main information they were able to glean was that it belonged to a group known as Ascendants, or Nexus Ascendants. Past that, they were also given a little bit of some, given potentially their next route they need to, or their next objective they need to go to. The heirloom seems to be pointing somewhere north, similar to how it was acting before it started reacting recently, where it was just pointing in a general direction, that being the consortium before. It seems to be doing the same thing again. It suggests, though I will say it's a little bit less a shot in the dark, as now the heirloom seems to be actually providing some information, or some more tangible information, I should say. Specifically, that they're looking for a place known as the Keystone Vault. But, alas, most of this information is not something they can immediately act on. So the party decided that they would lick their wounds and head back to town, and hopefully not get into any more shenanigans. But, of course, the party got into some more shenanigans, though at least not in the combat way, we'll say. Arriving back at town, the party would speak with a few of the, would begin to speak with some of the others as they made it back into the Guildhall, but notice as they got to their room, something was amiss. Someone had gotten into their guild room and had seemingly left a message for them. The party made sure to pay due diligence into who it could potentially be. Karina being the first one to notice someone had been there and kind of track who it could, what they could potentially be by creature type. After a little bit of conversing with each other and getting a couple of meals, the party decided that they would go and possibly try to find this individual, as the message had mentioned that they had some confidential information to pass on to the party, specifically as it pertains to the rogue sea dragon that is currently the main, objective to take down of the operation that they are part of. They seem to know this sea dragon, or posited that they knew this sea dragon, and that there was a overarching unknown in truth that the party was unaware of, and that things might not be as they initially might seem, so to speak. The party would track the message had an interesting note about where they could meet them. They suggested meeting at nightfall, though the party was a bit impatient on this matter, and they suggested meeting at the top of the cliff edge overlooking the town, which is coincidentally nearby where Breese is said to live, on the hill overlooking most of Mogah. The party would head their way over there after their meal, the rain somewhat picking up a little bit, the rain somewhat picking up slightly to a light drizzle once more. And leave the party to kind of converse over what they think they're running into. Some believed it could be a trap, while others were a little bit more hopeful that this could be something of proper worth to them. And it seems they would be correct, as once they arrived at the location and scoured the area, they would find that the individual was hiding in Breese's, cellar, I guess you could say basement. What could have easily at least seemed like a very bad situation, at least in the on the point of Breese hiding someone in their basement, was quickly explained as, still maybe questionably bad, but not in terms of Breese. More in terms of the overarching situation Breese has placed themselves in. Their name was Belfina. They were a dragon who was from a settlement up north, which several years ago was destroyed in at least what was reportedly a attack by raiders and pirates. This, however, was a lie. Belfina told a different story than that what the party and others around the lands of Lapsus would know. One that the Consortium would act to try to hide. I believe it was the Consortium and Tide Pact would act to try to hide. Why are my notes jumbled? One sec. My notes are jumbled and I need to figure out why. Let me just pull something up. I apologize for that, or for this. That's just, I don't know why they're like that. Okay, there we go. I apologize. So, I'm just making sure I read this off correctly. So, I believe it was called the Strix Assault. Yeah, Strix Assault. They had discovered, Belfina and their, they call their, their sister of the waves at the time, Solani, were residents of the town. They were both Drakeshore. And a little under 6 years ago, they were staying at a settlement in which I don't think they listed the name of the settlement. I might have told you guys last session. I apologize for me forgetting it. But either way, the settlement was eventually attacked, and it was called. This was during the pirate crackdown time, so this cover story of it being a pirate attack was not super surprising, especially post-war when a lot of pirates and raiders were kind of grabbing what they could and heading into hiding areas along different parts of the coast and neighboring islands. This Strix Assault was actually orchestrated seemingly by someone either within the Tide Pack or within the Consortium's either upper echelon or their guard itself. It was unclear, as Belfina and Solani never really were able to figure it out, but they were able to find a litany of evidence to prove that this was the case, or at least that the person was coordinating with an unknown Lapsus official. They had confronted the bandit leader at one point, cornering them. And when they did, they managed to, Solani and them managed to slay them, and they managed to find these notes on their person. These notes were listed, or these notes were sent to an unknown official within the consortium. They say unknown because they were using an alias. They literally were not able to figure out who it was just based off of the name given. They believed that this could be quite incriminating because there were officials that were mentioned. They don't know if these people were either directly involved or were people that could have potentially just been name dropped as they could have been name dropped as co-conspirators or simply name dropped as officials that this person had connections to. Johann, Hirata, Emmanuel, and Cyrillic. There was also a name I did not say last time, which was Gyonbo. And there was one other name. Marliana, what's his name? Not your father. Alakul. That was the other one. Alakul. The current leader of the honor guard, I believe. So there were 6 names mentioned. Again, 2 of those names are new. If you want to write those down right now, I apologize. I forgot at the time because there was some added lore for some of the stuff. In either case, this general moment of espionage aside, the Belfina and Solani, because they knew the truth, among others, they were hunted down and labeled as traitors, labeled as kind of part of this attack itself. Things were masqueraded and were changed to make it seem as though that they were a part of this roving band of raiders, and the story basically just stuck making them criminals that were hunted. This made it very difficult for them to effectively not just travel, but really seek out help. They couldn't seek out help from the consortium directly, as they were attempted to be hunted at first. When they tried to go out and seek the Tide Pact out, they were also similarly met with hunts against them and/or attempts to capture them and potentially throw them in prison. Solani eventually got tired of the constant starving, running away from others, and wanted to get revenge against against those that had wronged them and left them in this situation. She doesn't know what she really did past leaving, but she left Belfina with the last amount of rations and food and set out into the sea to find answers. This is where Breese came in, as Breese had found her effectively starving on the shore and brought her back to his cabin and began to nurse her back to health. He seemed to have figured out pretty quickly that Belfina was wanted, but after hearing her story and seemingly pretty quickly on, didn't believe that she was the criminal that everyone or his agent, his organization had laid out that she was. Especially since he seemed to believe, especially after, not just recently, but after his time away from the war effort and such, or the pirate raids and things, kind of begin to slowly be getting a bit disillusioned with certain parts of the consortium. He was a lot more in the mood to question these types of things. So, considering that she was incapable of really roaming around the consortium at the moment, she decided to stay with Breeze for the time being and hopefully find Solani in the future. And turns out Solani would actually find her. Solani, if you haven't figured it out yet, our dear audience, and you haven't watched the previous episode, is in fact our rogue water dragon. The same rogue water dragon that at the beginning of this adventure came not really aboard, popped up in the waters near the party's ship when they were first getting towards Mogah. The same dragon that screeched and proceeded to slightly attack and then flee. This is Solani, who has been the scorned of... Oh my god, what is her title? I think it's the Scorned Depths? That where I'm completely messing that up. One moment. Listen. That was a lot. That would have been a lot better if I hadn't butchered that. Give me a moment. There we go. Yeah, there was scorned in it. Okay. That's let's go ahead and repeat that. This would be Solani, now known as Solani Scorned Rogue. Belfina would note, as everyone else now has, the lack of sea trade and naval vessels coming into Mogah, and would pretty quickly posit that something was amiss in the sea. Being a follower of the way of the sea, and seemingly having a good attunement, similar to Felt, like a mystic, with the waves, they were able to kind of glean certain things before others were. And eventually, one day, while roaming the coast against Breese's wishes, as he was worried that with the ensuing things happening around, some might find them and might blame them for the attacks and the disappearing freight and stuff like that. And if they were to find her identity out, it would be even more of a catastrophe. However, during one of these times, she would find Solani beached on the across the coast, not too far out from the town. She seemed quite sickly, and something seemed a bit amiss with her. And while they did converse a bit, Solani would warn them to stay away from the waves and to leave Mogah. And if she had any desire to survive this ordeal, or have Breese survive it, she would get him to leave as well. When Belfina tried to confront her on where she had been, what had happened, and why she seemingly now had a fake eye, as Solani had lost her eye in the Strix assault before. Solani seemed to have screamed out in pain, her eyes seemingly glowing, and a strange chiming sound being heard around the area. In this moment, Solani would almost act in a kind of feral manner, lashing out and attacking Belfina, giving her a slight scar across their side, and the side of her face. Belfina would note that Solani was not acting in her right mind, that something seemed to have been causing this reaction. So she does not blame Solani for this ordeal or anything. And in fact, she's given the party a little bit of a alternate objective, we'll say, from this overarching one. She wants the party to save Solani, if they can at least, and potentially bring her back alive. Not to the consortium, and possibly not even to the guild. The party was conversing over this whole situation and what they should do, weighing the pros and cons, as Breese seemed to arrive as he was on his way back, and they kind of just, I wouldn't really say got caught, they kind of just accepted at this point that they needed to get Breese involved if they were going to do something. That they could probably trust Breese, now, knowing that he's involved directly with all of this. Breese had come back, and that is where we left off, as the party is still kind of making their final decisions on the matter. So yeah, here we are. So you are all back in the the cellar, determining what you would like to do. I believe for the most part you all had kind of decided you would at least attempt to do this. The big thing was how you were going to remove or damage or like kind of rupture the eye without, killing Solani or causing major amounts of damage to Solani. And there were a few suggestions outside of the obviously, slight joke one that Starsha had posited, which was simply to tear the eye out. Pop it out, like a little grape. But no, in all seriousness, though, there were ideas about possibly disenchanting it in some way. There was ideas about removing it, as well, though it would be difficult unless Solani basically was willing or bound so you could do it. But there was a last kind of result, which is that you might be able to kind of cause a mini rupture in it to not deactivate it by kind of destroying it, but it wouldn't cause it to like explode or anything. Blunt force trauma, for instance, could possibly like crack it, causing it to not actually, or causing it to lose some of its potential powers and effects. Again, a lot of this is still speculation, but these are some of the ideas that were thrown about. If it is mystical in nature, just shooting it once would probably not break it, so you do at least know that you can put a little bit of damage in it. Yeah. I would say also, in terms of everyone's kind of arrangements, some people are sitting on the couch. Breese is sitting on the love seat with Belfina. Belfina is kind of, we'll say, very closely hugging onto Breeze, and a little bit. She's looking a bit concerned and definitely a bit teary-eyed, but she's still kind of keeping it together. Felt is sitting down kind of across as well. Probably with Karina like standing to the side with arms folded. Jai is probably leaning on something, looking over. Starsha is as well standing. Yeah. Oh, and then I guess Tara Mailer probably propped on the couch.
I'd probably just stand too.
Alright.
Well,
Hey, I forgot homie wasn't present, right? Leo, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Not at the last bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it seems like we don't know enough about the eye, but there's another issue, maybe. How are we gonna get Solani away?
Breeze kind of nods. He says, yes, that is going to be the biggest problem. Was it Belfina kind of looks over and she looks down a little bit. Starsha will look over and she says, no one wants to admit it, I don't know why, but we all know that what we're going to have to do is sneak them past both groups. This does mean that we're going to be in a lot of trouble if we get caught. Potentially losing our guilds, some of our guild things, and potentially marking us as criminals by the consortium. He kind of, Breeze, you can see, looks to the side a little bit. He kind of says, I know what Belfina is asking of you is a lot. What I am asking of you is a lot, but... And after everything that has happened, I know that it is a lot to ask of you in general, especially considering your lives were in danger because of Solani. However, if it's true, no. If Solani is not... as it seems Solani might not be in control of their actions fully. I believe that a fair trial would not be had if they were to turn themselves in. Not at the moment. Maybe to the guild, but... Taramela kind of says, not to the consortium. Is that what you mean? He kind of just nods. Not after recently, no. He says, well, that can't be helped. Taramela kind of looks over. She's gonna look over at Starsha and Marliana. He says, so, what do you want to do?
I mean, we should still try and help.
Tom Hiller says, well, that's not exactly what I mean. Starsha gonna says, If we're given a vessel, we can man it with people ourselves. Rebecca has her cleaner uppers that can take over most of the fielding and such. If it's just us aboard, then it shouldn't be really a problem. The problem will come when we have to try to get back. But there's nothing that says we can't take a little detour. Taramela kind of looks over. What do you have in mind? She kind of looks. As I recall, the consortium has many different, we'll say, deltas and rivers around the edge of the coast. Large ships can't fit in all of them, but small rafts can. Fishing boats and the like. If we were to station a small vessel along the river, perhaps it could be done. And, he kind of thinks. Corina Felt would say, wouldn't they catch them though? I mean, I'm sure that the consortium and guild are going to be patrolling certain areas, right? Starsha kind of thinks, that is right, but there is a caveat. I'm sure the consortium and guild have blind spots. They can't monitor all the rivers at once. And it's not like it's the first time we've had to work under the table, so to speak. Remember back in Qual?
Yep.
Karina's like, I don't follow exactly. Starsha just looks over. Go ahead.
Oh, well, it involves how we took care of the mirror. It wasn't exactly to code.
Starsha says, if we can get in contact with Greyfang, there's a chance that we could arrange something similar. Or even if without Greyfang, we might be able to do with the you. She looks over at Karina. He's like, me? Yes. If you can send a word to the Lalel, there's a chance that we can get someone over here going along one of the rivers. We can drop off Solani, Breese, and Belfina, or one, most likely, one or two of them, with Solani. And then we head back and act like none the wiser.
I think that sounds pretty good.
Taramela says, kind of goes, but Starsha, they're forgetting something. If we come back empty-handed, there's going to be something that's going to be a bit odd, don't you think? Starsha says, I'm sure that we'll pile enough bodies and potty pots that they'll at least see that we took care of some of the problem. If not, we can always take some collateral. Maybe some apparel, armor, a weapon of some kind. A claw, even.
Yeah, I think that's usually enough, right?
Talamela says, the guild does actually go track some of the bodies. They don't always just leave them there. But I suppose with enough excuses, that is true, Starsha says. And with a high-ranking representative to smooth things along. She kind of smiles looking at Taramela. It's like, she rolls her eyes and kind of like, I see where you're going. I guess I can play along with that. Starsha kind of says, good. That being said, though, there is another matter. Karina kind of looks over. What? What's that? Breese. You're not planning on staying as a consortium guard after this, are you? It's kind of an awkward silence for a moment. Breeze kind of leans his head down for a moment in contemplation before, after a couple more moments, leans his head back up. You are excuse me, ooh. Had a burp there, sorry. You are inquisitive, Miss Starsha. The law is supposed to be just, to try those in a fair way, to see to it that they're given proper justice, proper care. It is the way of the lands to make sure society flows well. But over these recent years, no, even before then, the consortium is my home. And as much as it might surprise all of you to say, I do love it. But it is because I love it that I can acknowledge its faults, the problems that are laid bare beneath it. And it's because of that. I know I cannot fix the consortium from within. I know there are ways I must deal with this situation. He kind of like looks over at Belfina a bit and kind of cups his hand over hers. If Belfina is to see a proper adjudication, it would not come with me just simply being a normal guard. Karina's like, actually Felt would probably say, but wouldn't you have a better station to do that if you stayed as a guard captain? He kind of shakes his head. I can see after the incident involving Mogah that my time as a guard captain hasn't really changed much. If it hadn't been for all of you here, I doubt I could have dealt with the situation that happened here. Day than the others. Happened right under my nose, and I was too foolish, too distracted to see it. So, I would see doing something different. Go ahead, Marlena.
At least it sounds like you learned from all of it.
He nods. Yes, I have. Starsha looks over. Where will you go? I want to get to the bottom of this situation. I believe Solani is the key to some of that. I imagine that our paths would probably cross at some points as I investigate. However, I wish to do this investigation on my own terms. When I have found the truth, when I have found the proper evidence, when I can bring justice to those that have wronged Belfina and Solani, that have wronged all of the consortium, traitor scum, I will make sure that they are brought to proper justice.
Will you keep us updated with how that goes?
He nods,
I
of course.
imagine we could help each other out.
He says, before I go, he kind of says, I will be getting one of those scenting devices. I will give you a stone. It is not one of the technological ones. It does have a limited range. However, it is harder to track, though it can be more easily blocked. Messages may be limited, but I will try to contact you when I can.
Sounds good.
He nods. She says, does Hirata and Iabon know? He kind of looks over. Hirata does not. I believe Iabon has gleamed enough, he knows. But he has not yet to say anything. Starsha says, will it be an official stepping down, or will it be something more grandiose? He kind of says, "You mean, do I wish to fake my own death?" She says, "In more ways than one, I guess you could say, sure. I have not decided yet. I wonder if faking the situation might lead others to leave me be for the time being, but at the same time, perhaps going through the proper channels." Starsha says, "I advise a taking of leave. You've done a lot, and you've had to deal with a lot of things in Mogah. The situation has rattled you, it seemed, quite a lot. What's to say you take a couple months' break? I'm sure Eobon would allow you to do such. And if not, we can do a little pulling and convincing." Hmm. He kind of looks at all of you and just kind of nods. "Thank you." He's like, Sasha says, "Don't mention it. I'm mainly doing it. I want to see," well, no, she would say mainly do it. She would say, "I'm curious the information you can glean. You've got connection, even with you being not exactly as part of the God for the most part. I'm sure you've got connections around, and people will at least approach you more easily than they might approach a group of sporadic guild members of varying different lineages. We'll just say you have the archetypical type for consortium man." He kind of chuckles. He says, "Perhaps I do." Hmm. "So then, if that is the case, the plan," he says, "we can continue the plan. I will ensure that it is your crew only that is aboard the vessel that we take." She says, she nods. Good. Alright, everyone. I think that's, as far as I'm concerned, that we've figured everything out then.
Sounds like it.
I don't know.
Well, we still have plenty of time left in the day.
I've got a few things I want to do. I'm gonna start building start crafting something in the Guildhall. They've got a nice little profession area that I can drop my tools in and start working, so I think I might do that.
Oh, I might do something similar. I need your older pistols.
Oh, she kind of pulls them out of their holsters and gives them, hand them to you.
Oh, and Karina.
Karina looks over. Huh? Yeah. What's up?
I need your cordcaster.
Oh, sure. And they'll like sling it from around their back and kind of drop it to you and say, "Yeah, can you look at the alignment on it? I think it might be a bit off."
I'll take a look, yeah. I'll make sure it's in tip-top shape.
They just nod. Thanks. And kind of blushedly, move away. After, and then Felt will kind of look over and say, Miss Belfina, I just want to say, she'll like walk over and say, "I want to say you've been very brave, and if there's anything that the Way of the Sea can do for you, we will." She says, "But I'm a criminal," and she says, she kind of holds out her hand to like grasp Belfina. She says, "You're just a person that's been wronged, and you're in a difficult situation. You're not a criminal, okay?" She says, "But the consortium law," she says, "I'm saying this as Felt, daughter and disciple of the fourth wave. You are safe with us. If you need anything, I will ensure that most of the Way of the Sea, at least in this area, does not share information about your whereabouts. Alright?" She kind of looks over and nods. She's like, "Thank you, Lady Vel, thank you." She says, "Don't mention it." until like
What was that title again? I just want to make sure I got it down.
daughter and disciple of the fourth wave.
Hmm.
I believe there's another title that she said. I could not find it, but there's another title last session that Belpina said as well. To Fel.
I must not have gotten it either.
Yeah, I might have to go scouring for it. That or search the name, but yeah, there's a thing for it. Either way, Starsha she'll stretch and she'll say, time to get into the engineering room, I guess. Oh, I did want to do something. Oh, homie's not here. I'll tell Rebecca and homie to look into it, but I want to look at some of the ships they have in the dock. See what we might be working with in terms of options.
Yep.
You don't remember?
Mind hearing what's there.
Well, if once we hear something, I'll tell you all about it. She's gonna press her transceiver as she walks out. She says, "Homie." Actually, wait. Homie doesn't have a transceiver. Who has a transceiver? I think most of the party does now, right? But
a little less than half, but we're getting there. Magellan has one.
Starsha, Fari,
Karina has one.
Karina.
I have one.
You. It's 6 people, right? Fari, Starsha, Magellan, you, Karina. One more person, I'm pretty sure. Is it Jai?
I was about to say the same thing.
I think it is Jai, actually.
I could see it.
Let me check their inventory real quick.
What about Rebecca?
Rebecca's the other one I could have seen it being given to, considering current things, but let me check Jai's character sheet. Jai's still not present.
Because Rebecca might not be a bad call as like our future main sailor.
Yeah, they're gonna need one because well, that trans. Nope, not in there. Yeah, when I Control F and started typing it in, it's not there. Fuck, man, I should put a little thing on like the first page of the party status thing that just says who has the damn.
Might not be an awful idea.
Literally, I'm about to do it. It's actually kind of important. And today is the 14th. It will be the 16th when everything ends. So, who has transceiver? This is kind of just until everyone basically has one, which will definitely happen eventually. It's on Starsha's list for everyone to have a transceiver device on them. Alright, so we have Starsha. We have Karina. We have Marliana. Or would you keep yours on you, or would you have given it to Rebecca? For the day?
As of now, I still have it as it's on me.
We have... Who else do we have? Fari. Maybe it was 5. And then Magellan. I feel like there was a 6th one. Either way. Starsha's gonna call Magellan and have him go find Rebecca. He will wander his way around the docks and kind of do that, and then you'll hear on the transceiver as Starsha says to Rebecca, tells Rebecca basically like, hey, go look at the ships that are at the dock. I want to know what they got. Also, Rebecca is on Rebecca and get to, or she's gonna say to Rebecca to get her crew ready because they're gonna be helming whatever ship they're given by themselves. You'll hear Rebecca is giddy at first, and then she's like, you hear her say like, "Wait, did you just say we're gonna helm a ship? You know that these are did you know that some of these are frigates, right? The big vessels, they're not exactly such that. I'm sure that someone of your caliber can figure it out, Rochelle. You got it." And she's like, "Did you just call me?" And then you hear the ding sound.
That's crazy.
Starsha just says, "That should be taken care of." So let's head back.
You know, I just realized.
Go ahead.
I could have been doing my faction training in the guild.
Mm-hmm.
What did that actually give?
What are we talking about?
Know.
What faction training? Sorry.
Maybe I did. Yeah, what did the training provide? Or the guild bonuses?
Oh, are you talking about? I think I added it onto your training log, but let me check. For profession training, you get an extra 2 hours for every 6 hours you spend. I'm actually gonna pull the thing up just to make sure. Okay. Efficiency training 1 and 2. I believe the cost, there was going to be a cost associated, but I am going to give you guys this for free, just this once. But for every 6 hours you spend, you get an additional 2 hours of training.
Okay, then I think I did.
There was also simulation training. So no, you don't get all of these bonuses. You can choose the different bonuses. For there's simulation training 1 and 2. Weird. I think it actually might be just supposed to be 1. For every 6 hours, you get an additional +4 AP.
Now, since I already accounted for the
hours, yeah. I went with the hours because while the AP is nice, honestly, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't actually roll for the AP I was supposed to get. What is it for training time? Like normally?
Ours are different, but I can
normally
try
just base.
That.
I got field operative, which is for.
That gives you.
That's encounters. It's perfected training routine. Yeah, it's perfected training routine, and then focus on the game. Okay. When you roll a 2d20, yeah, you get an additional d20, and then also focus on the games gives you 10. So 3d20 plus 10.
Plus 10.
All right. Let's see how much AP I get. Please don't let me get average again. I'm gonna be kinda. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
A little better than average.
Okay, yeah, no, it was a little better.
Actually, I think that's literally. No, it's.
Plus 10, 49. 49 out of 70. It's 4 above average. You know what? It's 4 above average. I'll take it. Alright, so 49 AP. I still think it was worth it, you know. I still think the two things are worth. I'm debating if I should buy one of these again eventually. It'll be 300 AP for either one.
Or, I mean, it's a lot. But it is, worth it.
It'll pay for itself. Yeah, like it'll pay for itself if I do it early. And I really don't like. I think I'm kind of set on most of my passives for a bit. I mean, there's Delta Rebuke. I know I want to get in like another thing, but like I don't need them immediately. Is the thing. So either way, was it 49? I said.
Yeah.
All right, let me add that to the AP tracker. I don't know why I said it like that. AP tracker. This is not encounter. This is training. Plus 4, 9. Alright. I am at 85.
Points for killing me.
Yeah, there. Wait, did I actually add? Let me just subtract 1 real quick. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay. So let me add the 49 back. Pretty good for me. I will happily take that. I'm still under 100 AP, but that's okay because I don't need a lot to get Delta Rebuke. So, this is fine. In any case, let's change our tune, shall we? Alright, so the party. We'll quickly run through what the party will be doing for the next 2 days, as we did all this stuff off camera for the most part. So, as I look at the training logs here, on the rest of this day, we have Starsha, who will be working on creating a trigger mechanism, which is going to be for something we'll find out on the next day. Marliana will spend a little bit of time repairing Karina and Starsha's weapons, specifically the cord caster and also the Starsha's old twin pistols, twin repeaters from the guild. On top of that, Homie will be mining, and very well, might I add, for malachite and iron, getting successfully 6 of each.
The highest you can get at the moment.
Yep, at the moment. On top of that, Jai will spend a little bit of time doing some foraging and doing the foraging profession. I actually was gonna roll gonna have them roll eventually for that, because they were gonna go out and go see what they could find too. Either way though, on top of that, I think that actually that's all for that day in terms of like what people are going and doing. Towards the end of the day, Starsha, and you'll see Marliana as you're finishing up. Starsha will probably that's weird. Marliana, what were you doing the rest of that? Oh, wait, no, what were you doing the rest of that day?
I started upgrading my
my
gauntlets.
Was that on the same day?
It was part on the first day and the rest on the second day.
Okay, that's why. Because when I was looking, I was like, I only see you on there for 2 hours. Either way. So yep, as Marliana, as you're kind of working on your gauntlets a little bit in the main kind of like guild crafting room, and you can see there's various different stations kind of set out to assist different professions for the most part. Jai, you can see, comes back with a little small like open crate on their back with some stuff, and you can see they're looking through some things. Starsha seems to kind of like, I will say Starsha looks a little bit more dirty at the moment. Like they've got like a bunch of metal like little metal shrapnel and stuff like that on the floor around them. They are they're not covered in like soot and like ash, but you can see a little bit of some smudges on some of their scales as they kind of wipe their face away, and they're like, "Oh, this worked for the damn trigger mechanism." And they kind of like look at it left and right, nod, and they will put it. You'll see they kind of place it on like a little tray, and they say that should work. Now I just need to get the other materials. And you can see they reach in their bag. They reach over from their bag and pull out some copper wires bound up, and then also I believe it was there was something else that was part of that.
Right?
Yes, the sparkers, kind of sparking little node, and then you can see they start they don't start building something, but they kind of just start setting things on the table, and you can see they're getting ready for it, kind of looking at it, and as they're doing this, actually, you would see Rebecca approach behind, as well as Taramela as well. You can overhear. You can also walk over you like, but you overhear. Rebecca kind of looks over and she kind of says, she looks at first. She's about to say something, and then she kind of looks over and sees Taramela over there, kind of shakes her head, and it's like, I'm getting her attention first. She kind of says, "You, Foxy, what?" And she says, "What is this you said earlier about us trying to?" And she says, "I said what I said. We're going to need to man the ship by ourselves." She's like, "And do any of you have any idea how to helm a ship?" Starsha says, "That's what you're all there for." Says, "The
I would
ship
have
we
pointed at
had."
Rebecca too.
She says, "That's not what I." Sasha says, I thought you were boasting about how much of a up and coming pirates band you were, and how good you were with ships. That wasn't all talk, was it?" I says, "You little. Listen, even if I am as good as I am, and I am very good, it's still a lot of work to do that." Sasha says, "If you need help lifting things, I'm sure homie." It's like, "There's more to helming a
Me
ship than just
too.
lifting things." Never.
Like what?
She kind of says, homie, please. As yeah, looks at you as you're coming back with a bunch of mind resources. She's like, "Homie, just give me a moment." Starsha, she's like, looks over. Starsha looks over at her. And says, "I'm Rebecca. I'm sure that you can handle the situation. Besides, there's not again. I don't believe we're going to be getting one of the larger ships." She kind of says, "What do you mean? We're not going with one of the frigates?" She says, "No, I believe Breese has arranged just for us to get something that's maybe a bit still decently sized, but probably something a little bit lower." She kind of says, "A corvette. Still difficult, but more manageable, I guess." "Why?" She says, "Oh." She looks. You can see Starsha like does like a quick glance around. There are other like guild teams of people. They're just kind of like talking about other random stuff. And she just says, "I'll tell you about it later. At the moment, though, just know that we won't be needing the extra." She says, "So it's just going to be us out. It's just going to be us out there then." She says, "Well, it won't be just us out there, but I imagine we'll take our quadrant ourselves. At least from what I was looking at in terms of the operation. The idea is to scour the sea area and try to funnel the creature into a net of sorts." He says, "Right, I was reading about that. But we should be expecting support, shouldn't we?" She says, "There's a good chance that when we're out there in the waters, multiple ships could be attacked at once." She kind of looks and says, "Wait, I thought there was only one water dragon." Sasha says, "You're right, there is. But that doesn't mean that there's only going to be one water monster out there." Oh, one moment. I'm pausing for a second. My mouse is not working. Pause for a second. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Just a little medical thing. So, as Starsha was saying about the operation, and actually this might be a good time to outline it. So, Taramela will actually say, "Speaking of which, I did actually come here to talk about the operation. I was speaking with Fari. Fari told me to come tell you all about it. Just to make sure that everyone's on the same page is all." Starsha kind of nods and says, "Of course. What was it?" Says, "Well, in general, the main portions of the operation aren't really different than what you remember or told. The objective is, of course, to enclose the main threats in the Mogah's coast and take them out systematically. To do this, we're going to be using or retrofitting several ships that were already docked here, and increasing their defensive and offensive capabilities, as well as adding additional heavy-weighted nets to encircle and ensnare certain targets. The objective, or how we'll be doing this, or how they plan on doing this, was to use a similar consortium tactic of encirclement. I believe they call it the whirlpool tactic, and effectively use several ships to encircle an area and kind of draw into a target. draw a target inward, and then send a single or a few ships in to deal with the threat while bombarding it from afar. This works for the most part, but the consortium also believes that they're going to have situations like what happened, as you recall, on our way to Mogah, where they try to do surprise ambushes. This is why we're adding a few straggler ships. This, I believe, will be what we run in. These ships' jobs, if there's an altercation or situation, or some type of identified major target, we're going to be sent to deal with it directly, so that the encirclement does not get lost. Or, I guess I should say the encirclement isn't lost. To that extent as well, Rebecca kind of looks over and says, "So we're going to be more on the back line?" She says, "Actually, it's more of a frontline position. Because again, our job is to effectively, if anything goes wrong, to shore up the defense and/or directly go after a major threat that's spotted. The encirclement is mainly there to act as a buffer. If they get through us, they get to deal with the scraps." Starsha says, so it's the opposite of being the backup line. Effectively, we're the expendable ones. I wonder who devised this one. Says, "I believe it was discussed between Hirada and Devoni." She kind of says, "I wonder if Starsha kind of says, I wonder if the guild ships are the ones that are acting as the major. What did you call them?" Chance says, "You could call them you could call them more strikers." Says, "I guess these strikers. Oh well. Either way, I'm sure it won't change our plans too much. In fact, it probably works out. Though it does mean we're going to have to find a way to get past the encirclement once we take out whatever threat.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Taramela says, "Well, there is a caveat. As I said, the plan is to use the few ships to encircle an area and slowly close in. However, that might not be the case in all cases. If a major threat is noted, we might just be sent directly to deal with it. What I mean is, if there are multiple threats appearing, they can't encircle everything. They'll choose the largest threats and try to encircle them, or perceive the largest threats. So, for instance, if we or someone on the inside were to note Solani's appearance and report to us, we would simply just be acting to go after them directly, while the other forces deal with the larger threats. Potentially, maybe a large Water Chimera of some kind could have appeared, or a group of them could be appearing. This would mean they'd need to encircle them over going after Solani directly, as we go after them." Sasha kind of looks over and she's like, "You have a good point. Though we should probably keep it down. We're not supposed to know the name of the creature." It says, "Oh, right, you have a point." She kind of like winks. It's like, in any case, though, we should still be on the lookout. We have to make sure that whatever communications we give, we don't give any odd indications of things. Rebecca kind of looks over at both of them and it's like, "You're going to explain this to me later, right?" Starsha says, "Yes, we'll explain it to everyone in our group." Says, "Then in that case, homie, let's go." And she's just gonna walk over, grab you by the arm, and start pulling you away. Or homie away, I should say. Starsha looks back. "I assume you didn't just come here to tell me simply about Fari's updated information." Saramele kind of holds up hand up. "I'm not done. There's also some other things. Fari has your additional bullets that you requested, and was also said she would be able to order some of those profession care packages you were wondering about." Says, "That's a good idea." Oh no, sorry, not a good idea. That's good. She'll look over at you, Marliana. Marliana. Is there anything resource-wise you feel like you need, ore-wise, or something?
Well, I haven't exactly done the math yet. I'm not entirely sure we have enough to upgrade everyone's armor. Though that's gonna be something that takes a while. Either way.
Starsha nods. Something to improve upgrading. I'll have... She looks over. Could you have Fari look into that? Taramela nods. Sure, sure.
Oh, I was supposed to talk to Fari about enchanting.
Starsha looks over. Oh. I guess that's one of the few professions that nobody here specializes in. Oh. She kind of looks to the side saying that for a second.
Mm-hmm, that's crazy.
Taramela looks
Yeah,
over. Yes, it's unfortunate, actually.
I can only equip or upgrade our gear so much, but that's the entire other half of it.
Sasha looks over. Perhaps Fari is quite skilled with technology, but I'm sure with her, she would say, I'm sure with her magical aptitude and spiritual aptitude being so high, I wouldn't be surprised if she's adept at enchanting as well. Perhaps we could ask her. Taramela kind of looks over. That's fair, though she is our coordinator. Do you think that's asking her a bit much? Sasha kind of looks over, kind of thinking.
Well, some of us have multiple things that we do.
Starsha kind of nods.
And as long as she says it won't be too much.
Yes, of course it is her choice. She doesn't have to do it if she doesn't want to. Taramela nods. She looks over and she says, right. And she'll, Oh, she'll kind of say... Oh, she will ask her, she's like, so did you start working on it yet? She kind of says, if you mean my firearms, yes, I've gotten some amount done. Why? Says, that actually wasn't what I meant. Remember our conversation yesterday? Says, oh, that. No, I was planning on working on it tomorrow. Yeah, thanks.
What do you mean?
Sasha gonna
Mariana
says,
looking towards the two of them with like confusion.
Sasha gonna says, oh, it was nothing. Something I didn't get my chance to do during the month that before we got here. I was working on a particular spell. I just never got a chance to finish it. I decided to give some of the notes I began to Jai so they could make another version of it. And the other version I decided I would focus on making.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yes, if it goes as well as I think, it should allow Jai to have a little bit more protection in combat. And same for myself, and also them more offensive capabilities.
Sounds like a good thing then.
He kind of nods, says, well, regardless. She looks at herself. I'm covered in dirt and smudges. I'm heading to take a bath and then I'm heading to bed. Like Alex over. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. He kind of stretches and starts walking. Starts walking. Starsha kind of says, "Why are you following me?" She says, "I'm just going to the bath as well." She says, "That sounds a lot like following me." Says, "I can't clean myself whenever I want." She says, "You take baths all the time." It's just, is there a problem with wanting to be clean? It's a problem when you're following me. As I just leave the room.
Oh, maybe I should follow too.
If you like, yeah, you can follow.
I think when Starsha makes the comment about being followed is when I'll get up.
Yeah. As you're a little bit behind them. Also, Jai, if you're wondering, you are in the room as well. You would have just came back from foraging and would have gotten your collection. We actually need to get you to roll for foraging, but we can do that out of the game. But either way, you can follow if you'd like. You just finished collecting all your stuff, and it's about time for everyone to start turning in. Starsha and Taramela just left to go to the bath, and Marliana seems to be following them. Up to you. You're gonna just stay in the progression room? Okay. So, Marliana, you I imagine you're not like trying to catch up, just kind of like slowly following after them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hear a little bit of like the mild bickering, and by mild bickering, it's more Starsha just getting annoyed and Taramela just laughing it off. Eventually, though, Starsha just kind of sighs, and she's like, "Are you going to actually tell me why you're actually following me?" It says, "Well, one, I'm not actually just following you. I am wanting to go take a bath, you know." It's fine. So, what is the reason? It says, "I still want to." It says, "I still want to know why are you holding back." It says, "I thought we'd been over this already." It says, "Yes, but I saw a glimpse." She kind of looks over. She kind of like leans in over a bit as they're getting into the like the actual like changing room. It's like, glimpse of what? It's like, there was a little smoke when you were fighting against that one construct. It says, "Don't tell me you didn't feel it yourself." She kind of like stops for a moment just as you're entering Marliana and kind of looks up, kind of thinks. You can tell she's probably thinking about back the combat, or kind of back like what happened earlier today, and for those wondering, she is thinking about the kind of just the combination of things, her new spell that she had not used yet before, and then like kind of going into the somersault slam thing she did, where Tarameo like basically tossed her up. She's kind of just thinking, I guess that was not too bad for a showcase of things. I'm worried that it might have been a bit too much, though. Tina says, "Stop worrying about everything so much. I'm sure that the AO has some type of way they can monitor some of our abilities. I'm sure they know certain things, even without us doing them. There's perhaps, but still. There's... Besides, in the end, it worked out, didn't it?" Tina says, "Besides, it worked out, didn't it?" She kind of just mummers. She says, "So, are you willing to use a bit more of that, special stuff?" She says, "No, I'm not. The thing I used didn't even really touch that area. She says, the thing I used didn't even really touch that area of my power set, and I'd like to keep it that way." Says, she kind of grumbles like, why are you so difficult with this?" Says, "And why are you so willing to just haphazardly throw caution to the wind?" Says, "I feel like in order to learn how to use something better, you have to start using it." And it says, and she kind of looks at her when she says that. Not like angrily, just kind of like just gives her a slight look and then looks back. And it says, "Easy for you to say. You probably haven't lost control." Rayla kind of looks over. "And why do you think that is?" And it says, "Because you're acting like you haven't. You haven't." She kind of just shakes her head. "Never mind." She kind of says, I haven't what? Hurt someone close to me? Is that what you're wondering?" And it says, as she's about to say something else. By this point, by the way, Marliana, they are like sitting down like in the bath, like the bathing area, basically in the water. And Starsha just
I think this whole time Marliana would just be quietly
listening in, but not
She
really
doesn't
like.
know entirely what's happening, but I'm getting context in
Yeah,
some degree.
context. Yeah.
I know what Marliana's missing, but
Yeah, you know Marliana's missing, but yeah, Marliana's is probably, yeah, like I said, slowly probably piecing a couple things together. But Starsha looks over and says, "Have you, what would she say?" To the question that was just asked, or comment that was just said. She would probably look up into the sky for a moment and kind of closes her eyes, just kind of thinking. I don't have much memory of when I was a child." So I mean, it's like, don't a lot of people not have memory of a certain portion of their childhood? She says, she looks over,
not me.
"Mostly things when I was younger than 12. And Darla, you're like, not me. Tamaela's like,
I think my earliest memory is at 3.
Starsha
But
kind
it
of
starts at 5 mostly.
Starsha says, I believe that's normal for most creatures. I don't have a recollection of much of my memory past the age of 12. Or before the age of 12. And even then, it's sporadic, even if the next few years pass.
It's sporadic. That's graceful.
Oh, are you now joining, Joey?
No, I'm just saying this above.
Oh, above board, yeah. Well, Starsha has a little bit of amnesia, so. Taramela kind of leans back and she says, so partial amnesia. She kind of says, yes, but past that time, I've known a few things. I should say at this point, by the way, Marliana, it is just you three in here. So.
Yeah, I figured.
She kind of says, past that though. As I grew up, I was taken care of by my father. He did everything he could to try to keep me out of trouble, despite me being a little bit of a hot ass. And keep me educated, fed, clothed, and everything. Not only did I squander a lot of that sometimes, but whenever I got in trouble, he had to bail me out. You can imagine, daughter of a, let's say, as you know, former member of the AO. Not exactly easy to... Well, not exactly the best if you're getting involved in a bunch of things. I bit off a bit more than I could chew a few times. And when he wasn't there to help, the repercussions were a lot graver. I've hurt people before. The thing is, most people... She kind of stops herself. And you can see, Taramela kind of looks over. Most people won't. Starsha says, Taramela, when you have slain a creature, whether they be humanoid or not, what do you feel? And she kind of thinks, like, that's a very odd question. Well, I guess it depends. Sometimes exhilaration if it's been a grand hunt. Sometimes somberness, depending on if it's well, I guess not exactly something I was thrilled in doing. I guess it depends on the situation. Other times, I guess you could say a catharsis, depending on how bad the person was. But, yes, it kind of just depends. Either way, sometimes, I guess a lot of times, it's generally melancholic. But some things have to be done, right? Starsha says, right, some things have to be done. She kind of looks over. Where is that? She kind of says, where are you going with that? She says, You asked me why I don't use certain things. It's not just because I don't have control of them. It's because of the things surrounding it. I struggle, you could say, with feelings towards things. He says, I think we all struggle with feelings towards things, don't we? Some people it's romance, some people it's bickering, the usual things. She kind of says, Starsha kind of looks over. Most people feel something when they kill something, don't they? She kind of says, I imagine most people try not to kill things, but yes, I imagine most people do. Starsha says, she just kind of looks at her. And so, Sarmela kind of like looks back and thinks for a minute. Starsha breaks her gaze and just kind of looks up, kind of closes her eyes and leans her head back and just thinks. Thinks out loud. My father was a very good man. He did a lot to take care of me. But I am not a very good person. The reason I don't use certain things is because I have enough wherewithal and I have enough proper training and perhaps you could say consideration to know that something bad, very bad could happen if someone like me let things go a little bit too far. And it looks over and says, well, I don't imagine most people that would have, will say your disposition would probably feel the same way, so I'd already say you're probably different than most. She kind of says, be that as it may, it's something I need to constantly monitor and keep in check. Starsha looks over. It is odd, though. Tarmela just kind of, her face kind of scrunches for a second. What do you mean? Well, you don't exactly seem perturbed. You'd think that someone telling you they don't exactly feel things when they kill people, they would think that that would probably shock or disgust you. Or someone, I guess. Sienna looks up. Does it now? I guess you can say I'm quite odd myself, then. But perhaps I also think that perhaps you don't give yourself and others as much credit as you should. Tina says, looks over. I don't think it's really that I'm not giving myself credit. I just think I know I'm looking at the nature of the beast here and calling it as I see it. She kind of sits up. I don't know if I'd be so sure about that. Either way, she kind of like shakes herself off a bit. You can see her fur kind of fluffs up. She kind of like brushes it off, or the water off a bit. Either way, I think that it's something that you might have to figure out yourself. In any case, I'm gonna go scrub down and I'm gonna head to bed. And she will look over at you, Marliana, and just kind of give you like a smile, and then, well, walk off.
Yeah, I'll return the smile, but I'll stay. I don't really say much.
Starsha doesn't look at you. She just kind of keeps her head laid back and just kind of like. She actually seems like she's kind of just relaxing. She doesn't seem perturbed or like annoyed or anything. She's just kind of just has her head back, relaxing.
Okay. I guess seeing that's better than nothing. I will go ahead and get up too, but as I leave, I'll say to her, you can count on us with whatever you're worried about.
She opens her eyes and like looks over towards you, and she kind of says, "I know."
Okay. Well, I'll be off too.
So you kind of, as you're about to leave, she kind of says, "Are you bothered by it as well, Marliana? Or sorry, are you not bothered by it as well, Marliana?"
Well, I don't really have an answer one way or another. Um, so not really.
You all are quite odd indeed. I guess that's why we all work out so well. You can see a slight smirk when she's
I think what's important is that you feel the things you feel when you're around all of us.
I suppose you have a point. And, you know, you can take your leave.
Yeah, that'll be that.
I was not actually sure if I was going to reveal that this early. But I kind of just happened. I kind of just let it happen. Either way. Yeah, big Starsha reveal. Well, yes, you all retire for the night. Go to sleep in the bright... Oh, wait, actually, well, I can tell you more about your ships, or about the ship options, if you'd like. But, in general, it's not finished yet, which is kind of why I wasn't going to say anything. Actually, I'll wait, because it's literally not finished. I'll finish it by the time next things come around. Either way, all of you will wake the next morning, head out to do whatever activities and the like you'd like to do. Marliana, you did want to talk with Fari about things. I know that Taramela was also going to, but you can also, if you'd like to go, talk with Fari about...
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, can Jai have a couple conversations with Veldas?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that first, actually.
Jai, oddly enough, is gonna ask Veldas, have you thought about the proposition before?
The proposition?
Yeah. It's okay, Veldas forgot.
Oh, I remember the proposition now. As you're kind of sitting in a chair, probably thinking a little bit about this, and like kind of you close your eyes to commune with Veldas, there is a moment where you feel the link, and then you can hear Veldas's voice coo as it comes into your mind. What is it now?
You know, about becoming the first of your kind to perhaps try new endeavors.
Ah, yes, your proposition from before. Usually, many of your kind, not necessarily Servokin, but others of particular humanoid characteristics, usually give their bodies to fuel the biomass of the hive. Energy can be extracted, of course, spiritual or otherwise. But based on the way you speak of your proposition, you speak of a different type of thing. I would say that I find this proposition intriguing. I do not communicate with other Beogals, as I do not know many of our kind that are known to. We are quite isolated creatures, as you know. However, there is something I've always found intriguing. There is more I wish to know of this predicament. The predilection for your species to copulate the way they do. It is a foreign concept to me.
Perhaps is the difference between your people's current strength and going beyond that. But we'll never know if we don't try. Also, I find it intriguing as well.
Hmm. I must do some studying. Then.
Perhaps. Also, if Jai is if the Guildhall is aware of Jai's thoughts,
Yes.
and Jai is just casually thinking, Jai may have other reasons why Jai is intrigued by this proposition, but we're not going to speak about that right now.
Yeah, Jai is beaming some thoughts into the Beogal's head right now. The Beogal is quite confused once, but taking notes, I guess. Like, kind of thinks. I see this as a common practice in different ways.
Yes, but you see, we could be the first, in even more different ways.
Knowledge is an intriguing prospect to gain. I will say some of your previous copulation partners seem to be quite, how will I put this in a nice way for your kind? Vile.
I
feel like some of my previous have a strong desire and need for sleep. I don't. If only they didn't need to sleep as well.
I see. However, perhaps based on the concept, I believe the referred term is attraction. Perhaps it is simply put that I lack a normal sense of that word. I must do more studying of it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I think
perhaps I'm drawn by
I am drawn
intrigue.
by knowledge.
Perhaps I find your knowledge attractive.
Intriguing. Regardless, however, there is other things I wish to discuss.
Go ahead.
This morning, the engagement you and your compatriots embarked in. Against that organization and the like. Yes, the AO. It took me some time, but I do believe that I have seen them before. No, moreover, I have heard of them before. Long ago, it's a century or two, in your people's time at least. I believe they had worked on a particular facility. I had heard a certain Beogar was. Ah, yes. I believe Kayaktis. They had sent their own brood out to them. I believe they bashed heads. They were working on something along with some remnants of the Shattered that had taken up in the local solar system. Things, I believe, did not go as planned for either group. Though I could not tell you exactly. But I do know that whatever this AO is after, there's a chance that it might relate to the Lords of Ruin.
The Lords of Ruin, you say?
It at least connects to us in some way. That way, however, I have not yet discovered. I require more information. But that...
Perhaps.
Do go ahead.
Perhaps this endeavor will lead to many new sources of information.
My goal is still to understand why. But past that, I suppose a distraction would not be too out of the question.
Are you saying we find a way to distract the AO to get more information?
No, I mean that they have become a particular, well, not they. What they're after has become a particular interest of mine. Your compatriot, the Starsha. What they hold, I'm curious about. The facility you walked into, I've seen it many, many years, many moon cycles. It's rare a sight to see, and even then it is still not of a normal type. The Ascendants, I believe, is what you saw on the console. Nexus Ascendants. They are one of the oldest of groups and organizations, even dating back to the birth of our.
Did you say the birth of your kind?
Indeed.
Hmm.
Despite this knowledge I have of them, their records, information, or the records, their logs, their echoes of existence are difficult to find. Even when they are, even harder to open. To find someone with the ability or the key to do so easily, it's intriguing. I wish to see the secrets of this heirloom. Perhaps it will lead me to an answer of mine as well.
I do think that'd be quite an intriguing discovery.
What was that?
I do think that would be quite an intriguing discovery.
Are you not worried that what I might do with said information once I've got it?
I think while what we desire can sometimes vary to different ends of the spectrum, what we want in the end is not too much different.
We shall see.
That is true. I mean, you haven't mentioned wanting to kill me, and I don't really seem to have an interest to kill you, so how far different could we be at this moment?
Do you mean physically?
Yes.
I am quite a few. Well, how would you put it? I am quite a few what your species would use as units meters taller than you are.
Yes.
As an example, I mean.
Yeah, I know you're taller. Do you mean literally, or are you talking about something else?
I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. That construct you spawned would be comparable in some ways.
Intriguing. I'd love to see you in person.
Then you must call upon our our pact more.
Okay.
I'm also intrigued by what that other Guildhall mentioned for you to do. I believe a lightning cloak might actually be quite useful. For a while, your abilities of summoning will be quite hampered. You lack the full connections abilities. But the lightning cloak should shore up some of its the issues initially.
I'll keep that in mind.
I also know of your other inclinations.
Like?
I know that lightning is not the only speciality you seek.
Perhaps you're right. I don't think I've shared that with much people. You might be one of the few that knows that.
We do share somewhat thoughts.
That is true.
Your growth also aids mine, so I will see what I can find that can aid it.
I appreciate that.
And the voice fades.
I will let you.
So yes. Continuing ahead, Bari and Marliana.
Yes. Also, there's one thing I probably should have mentioned earlier.
What's
To
that?
get my glaive fixed at the guild, but I don't
Yes.
remember how it worked in that little contract I set up.
I'll go check it later, but I think you get it. I think you get repaired for free, if I remember correctly. But yeah, go ahead. Marliana, you can stop Bari as she's kind of sitting in your guild in your guys' room. Or one of the rooms, and you can see she's been on call with a couple of different people throughout the day. And she will look over as you come in and say, can I help you, Marliana? What is it?
I had something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh. Go ahead. Show motion for you to sit.
Well, a lot of us have been doing different training like things during our bit of downtime we had. And I was wondering if you had any expertise in enchanting.
Believe it or not, I actually do. Taramela mentioned something to me. The Starsha and you were wondering. Yes, I can help with enchanting if necessary.
I don't have anything specific in mind yet, but it'll help the whole team with us upgrading our gear.
We will need a few things. Essence collectors, enchantment material. It can get quite pricey, but it's something we can probably gather as we're exploring.
Is there a not pricey way? I really prefer us trying to gather all we can before we have to buy anything.
There is to some extent, but enchanted materials are not as easy to come by as things like monster parts or even machine parts. For instance, the way to properly get arcane dust is not super easy to do. Essence might be somewhat easy to collect if you know what you're doing as a channeler, but even then, it's in small quantities and for massive amounts of enchanting. It's not always the easiest, let alone more potent enchanting. So, there's a reason why enchanting is one of the more expensive trades to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we should still try and do all we can ourselves first.
Of course, of course. In general, most of the things that we'll need to buy, at least initially, will probably be the enchantment materials themselves. The essence we should be able, at least for now, to collect on our own.
Well, add it to the list. Starsha and Taramela? I kind of forgot. They're looking to see what they can get for us to work with in the future.
Yes, they talked to me specifically about that. I'll do what I can to gather things.
Oh, right. That is what they were doing.
Hmm. He looks over. How are you
I
holding up after yesterday?
hmm.
She said, how are you holding up after yesterday?
Oh well. I mean, could have been worse.
Hmm. Indeed. I'm slightly worried
But
about... I'm slightly worried about Starsha.
wait, say that last bit again.
Sorry, I was chewing. She said, I'm slightly worried about Starsha.
Yeah, she's got a lot on her mind right now, it seems, but I don't really know the.
Did you speak with her? She looks over at you.
Not really. I mean, I was there. It's mostly her and Taramela talking.
I see.
Hmm.
What was it about, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, with how they were slinging around the words like power and control, I look around because I don't remember. Where exactly are we?
You're in your
I
guys' room.
forgot. Oh, okay, all right, we're cool.
Just making sure no one's listening.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it seems like Starsha is too worried to do something that Taramela thinks she can.
Oh, yes. I know what it could be about. Says her paracausal tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she kind of looks over. Starsha, she kind of looks outside the window. Starsha is a bit petrified of it, it seems. And I feel like her mentality around it is, we'll say, might make it difficult for her to utilize it. If she does. I don't wish to force her to. But I don't want her thinking that she's a walking time bomb either. Paracausal users have to deal with many things. A world that effectively doesn't accommodate and loathes them in many cases. Always sees them as a potential threat. A walking weapon that's pointed at everyone that could randomly go off. She kind of just thinks. I want her to not think that she is that. Not while she's with us.
I was trying to get that idea to her too. I think she heard what I had to say relatively okay, but I don't know. I don't think she's changing her opinion on things anytime soon.
Then perhaps I'll have to apply a little bit more pressure. She kind of just like sits up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for her health after all.
No. Mm.
Well then. If that's, yes, it looks over. If there's anything else, I'll be coordinating for the most part here. But, oh, she kind of stops.
Oh, I was just gonna say nothing. Nothing at the moment.
So I'll be coordinating mostly from here.
All right, well, wish us luck.
He nods. And you?
Now it's off to go finish my gauntlets. Oh, actually, well, right before Marliana walks out,
Mm-hmm.
let me know if you ever need any of your equipment touched up.
She'll nod,
Though
of
from the
course.
last fight, it seemed like it was okay.
Of course, Mariana, of course. And she'll nod you. So, after that, you guys will be left to your own devices for the rest of the day as they have figured out what is happening. Night will come. Night will fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since our train.
This is the same. Remember the 2 days we did? You did your 32. I think you did the rest of your time reading this day.
Yeah.
Finish your book. So you used all the rest of it to finish the book.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think it was book and...
It was book and then profession training the first day.
Yep.
And you just finished the book on this day.
Wait, wouldn't I have done the book consecutively? And then did the training at the very end?
On our note here, not there. We had you on the first day doing your forging profession.
Oh, that makes sense. I would have done training, because didn't I train for Ariana? Did I train for her?
Not that I recall.
Oh, I think I would just would have trained on first day.
And then the second day, you had 30. Well, technically, because you didn't need to sleep, you just read after you did your profession stuff. For 34 hours straight. See?
Wait. Yeah, that makes sense.
You had 40 hours because you didn't have to sleep. Everyone else had to, so they only had 24 hours. And then you got an extra 16. So, you will all, unless there's anything else, everyone will awaken the morning of the 16th. It is partially cloudy. It looks like it will probably rain. Probably get back to light or medium. Perhaps even more if you get out there in the waters. You can see dark clouds begin to kind of pool, bellowing in the distance. You can see Hirata and the others heading out to the main dock area. Everyone else kind of getting their stuff on other guild teams. You can see consortium soldiers as you all have now readied yourselves and unlock the path. Yep, don't worry, they got the umbrellas and stuff like that. Though if you want to get a rain jacket, I'll have you give me a few gold just to... Not gonna gold, probably like 15 silver.
How much is that?
1.5.
We need 2 gold to get the strongest rain jackets.
Alright. Jai places on their rain jacket over there. I guess their armor?
Yeah, on top.
And heads out.
It has something.
There is... I will say, there is a mild crowd as you guys are heading on the path towards the docks. Various consortium citizens waving you guys all off. They're mainly cheering, it seems, for... No, actually, there's a mix. They're actually cheering a bit for A and B, for all of you and the consortium soldiers as they pass. Load themselves onto the vessels and such. Hirata gets some big cheers. Devona gets some cheers, but he doesn't seem to pay them much mind. Hirata kind of waves to all the crowd with a smile. Not like a prideful one, just kind of a very happy smile. Approachable one. Your party, of course, is waved off. You can see some of the people from the docks wave to you all. You can see that there is a few Alto people that are here that also wave to you. There's a slight glance. You can see one of them looks over towards Starsha and just kind of nods. And Starsha just nods back to them, and then their group begins to leave the crowd. And then after that, you guys will arrive at the main docks. Hirata will turn to all of them as he stands on the podium, similar to how Dale did that one time, except now with less racial epithets, or species epithets, I guess. As he speaks loudly and very emphatically and says, Today, my men, women, and those betwixt, we will be storming our way into the brine. Out there, as he looks, you can see the bellowing clouds. You can see there's actually a storm beginning to brew as well. This will be an arduous operation. Do not take it lightly. You've been in these seas before, many times, but we are going into a situation that is not one that many have yet. Many of you have seen these creatures firsthand, fought them firsthand. These Water Chimera and Earth Chimera creatures. They are not to be taken lightly. Ensure that all of you are properly cared for, are together in your squadrons and parties, and make sure to look after each other in the waters there. Know that... One moment. Go away. Sorry. Cat's annoying. Right now. Know that your... Sorry. Know that your brother... let me get my train of thought. I apologize. Putting the other headphone on. Know that the people of the Consortium, the people of Mogah, Quald, and all, their survival, their livelihoods, rest on the success of this operation. Many of them have lost a lot in the last few weeks. You are the guide to salvation. You are the Consortium's hope. Be you from the Guild, the Consortium. Know this. Today, we all will fight to ensure that these people have a prosperous tomorrow. Now then, and he starts naming out different squadrons, and he says, "You will be helming this vessel. Ensure that you're in circumvent formation A. You," and he kind of like points to the another squadron. He's like, "You'll be with Squadron B. You'll be doing," and then like heads over there. He kind of stops as he gets to you guys, and he says, "You." I almost said something else. I almost said a different team's name. You out there. And he points over Marliana towards your group, and he will say, "Guild team, Echoes of Stardust. You will be given a corvette vessel. You will be one of our strikers. Fast attack vessels headed over to help to provide immediate assistance. Considering your last engagement and swift action in the previous portion of this operation, it has been," he looks over towards Breese, "agreed that your coordination and your ability to react quickly in a difficult situation will pay much aid to this operation." I don't think this is the right voice for Verada, but either way, I'm gonna go with it. "Now then, head on to your vessel." And he will point over to the, yes, I think it's a seafarer. It says,
All right.
and looks over. You can see Rebecca is looking on board. You see the rest of her crew, like, they kind of look over them, like, they're kind of like, Miss Rebecca, our ship kind of looks like it's not as armored up as the others. Is that supposed to be the case? Like I says, Rebecca kind of looks over. "Don't ask me. I'm just the one that's supposed to helm this fucker. All right, everyone. We're going." She says, and she starts yelling out, "All right, everyone. I'm gonna need you to carry these things up here. We're going to head out in about 30 minutes." And she kind of look. You can see Hirata, as you can see lightning and stuff bellowing as the storm is starting to approach. She says, "Make that 20. We want to get out before the storm starts to get too bad around the coast." She kind of looks over it.
Better make it happen.
Yeah, she kind of looks over. She's like, "Yeah, this will be fun. It's been a while since I've sounded like this in a storm and like this. Now, where's that brandy I was saving?" She kind of like heads off somewhere. Starsha just kind of looks out into the ocean, like on the side, and she just kind of says, or she kind of looks over to all of you and will say, "Everyone, make sure that you're what would she say? Everyone, make sure that you all keep your head on a swivel out there. We don't know what we know. Solani, she says we know that the rogue water dragon is out there. She would say Solani, sorry. But we also know there could be something else. Remember the thing we saw. She'll look over at you, Marliana. Remember what we saw in the water.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while.
Mela kind of looks over. She's lugging up like these large 2 crates. She's like, "What do you mean in the water?" Starsha says, "I'll explain as we head out further." But she says, "I did give a record to both Devoni and to Hirata, so they know what to look out for." She'll kind of look. She'll turn back to the storms and just kind of say, "We just gotta make sure that we make it through this."